The objective of this lesson is to get an understanding of the mathematics behind inflation and also to have a little bit of a look at the role of government and its role in controlling inflation. Inflation is a general rise in prices, or alternatively, it could be seen as a fall in the value of money. It means that year after year, $100, for example, gradually buys less and less. You've seen this in your own lives, I'm sure. I know when I was a kid, a 50-cent bag of lollies from the local milk bar used to get you, quite a handful of lollies. Nowadays, 50 cents would buy you one if you were lucky. That shows an example of inflation. Over time, prices generally increase, or the amount of money that you have buys less. Inflation increases the prices of everything around us. However, it's not the only thing in play in regards to price increases. Today we're going to have a look at 5 different items. A McDonald's Big Mac, the cost of housing or the median price of housing, unleaded petrol, milk, and bread. Over the past 20 years, which of these items do you think has been affected by inflation the most? Now obviously there are other things that are impacting, but which of these do you think has been most affected by inflation? Let's start with milk. I'm just going to bring up my pen. In 1994, milk cost $1.05. In 2013, the average price of milk was $1.55. Now to work out the percentage change, we do $1.55 minus $1.05 and work out the difference between the two prices. In this case, it's 50 cents. We then take that 50 cents, 0.50, and divide it by the original price of 1.05. We times that by 100 over 1 in order to get the percentage change. If you type that into your calculator, you should get a value of 47.619, which works out to be about 48%. So the percentage change of milk from 1994 to 2013 is 48%. This is a good chance to also talk about other factors that play in the price of milk. At the beginning of 2012, Coles supermarkets decreased the cost of its price of 1 litre of milk to $1. Now that's below the cost price. It actually costs more to make the milk than what they were selling it for. That's included in this average price of $1.55. By decreasing the price to $1, Coles was hoping to get people into the stores because everybody needs to buy milk, so more people that come in to buy milk will then spend money on other items which were more expensive than cost price, and therefore they could increase their profits. So the percentage change of price in the 20 years between 1994 and 2013, whilst it may equal 48%, in actual fact the cost of price could be quite different. And we're unable to see from this example what exactly the cost of inflation was. However, towards the end of this slide, we'll have a look at towards the end of this presentation, we'll have a look at the expected range of inflation year on year. Now for a loaf of sliced white bread, in 1994 you paid $1.67, and in 2013, you paid $3. So the percentage change there, again, is $3 minus $1.67, which equals $1.33. You then take the $1.33, divide it by the $1.67, times the answer by 100 over 1, and that should give you a percentage of around 79.64, or 80%. So the price of bread has increased in the 20 years between 1994 and 2013 by 80%. Hopefully by now you're getting an understanding that the percentage change was the same as what we looked at in chapter 20. In regards to inflation, inflation is just a percentage change. Now we're evaluating percentage changes that are quite high. This one's 80%. The previous example was 48%. Other examples that we'll look at will also be quite high. Inflation tends not to be that high. Inflation tends to be more in the realm of 2 to 3%. But again, we'll have a look at that towards the end. Unleaded petrol per litre. I'd like you to do this one now. So the price in 1994 was 68 cents. The price in 2013 is $1.45 per litre. Take a couple of minutes to work out the percentage change between those two prices. So how'd you go? Hopefully you should have got somewhere in the realms of 113%. The way you can tell this is 68 cents times by 2, or 100% increase of 68 cents, is less than $1.45. Therefore, you would expect the percentage change to be greater than 100%. So 113% is the answer that I got. Again, I'd like you guys to work this one. A Macca's Big Mac in 1994 sold for $2.45, and in 2013 the same Big Mac sells for $4.80. Take a couple of minutes to work out the percentage change of this item. So how'd you go here? The percentage change here, $4.80 minus $2.45 equals $2.35. $2.35 divided by the original price of $2.45 times by 100 over 1 gives a value of 95.918, or about 96%. Hopefully you got a similar answer to that. Oops. Now, median house prices, or average house price in 1994 was $148,800. The median house price in 2013, however, was $529,000. Take a few moments to work out the percentage change here. So I got 255% when I did this. That's a massive increase, and obviously, sorry, 256%. Not going to forget rounding. 256% increase in the 20 years between 1994 and 2013. Now in that 20 years, that is a huge increase in the cost of housing. Now obviously that's not simply due to inflation. The percentage change in house prices is obviously impacted by so many different factors, including supply, how many houses there are, new houses being built, demand. People will pay more for houses in areas where they want to live and less for houses in areas where they don't want to live, and the impact of investment properties. More people are investing in houses, therefore the prices are going up and making it more expensive for everyone to get a house. Now I want to spend a bit of time on the inflation formula. If you have a look at the inflation formula here, A equals P times 1 plus R over 100 to the power of T, you'll recognize that as the compound interest formula, where A is equal to the price after T years, P is equal to the original price, T equals the time in years, and R equals the inflation rate. This version of the formula does not include N, however, because compounding in regards to inflation happens once per year, i.e. where N is equal to 1. So whereas in the compound interest formula you would typically see an N next to the 100 and an N next to the T, in this case, because it's equal to 1, it's left out. You're also able to use the solvability of your CAS calculator to assist in finding the values of P, R and T. So during the exams, make sure you're familiar with that solvability of your CAS calculator to make things a lot easier for you. What I'd like to do now is have a quick look at how inflation is calculated and give you a bit of context. So inflation is measured by the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. Now every year at January time you'll notice that the cost of a MyKey ticket will go up, the cost of most things that you buy will go up slightly. This is caused by inflation. That is what inflation is. The way that inflation is calculated is that quite literally there's a huge shopping trolley which government inspectors take around the shops every month. Now the shopping trolley doesn't change. Every month they buy the same thing and they record the change in prices of the cost of the trolley. That gives them a pretty good indication of inflation over time. Now mind you, it's not just food items that they're buying, they're also purchasing petrol, the cost of living, houses, electricity, utilities, stuff like that as well. But the analogy of a big shopping trolley is quite apt, and it all leads into the consumer price index. Now the role that the government play in Australia is actually quite limited. The Reserve Bank of Australia is in control of the inflation rates. Now the RBA sets the target of inflation between 2% and 3% per year, and they've been pretty good over time of getting that in that margin. High inflation is above 3% and low inflation is considered below 2%. The way that the RBA controls inflation is through interest rates, which is otherwise the cost of borrowing and the benefits of saving. High interest rates means there's more benefit to save your money, you get more back from the bank, but the cost of borrowing is also high when interest rates are high, and the vice versa is also true. If inflation is too high, that is, the economy is going too fast and there's too much stimulus in the economy, the RBA will raise interest rates. This makes customers more likely to save rather than spend because they can get a better return from the banks with high interest rates. Mortgage repayments become more expensive, so families have less money to spend each month, and likewise businesses find it more expensive to borrow money for investment in growth, therefore they're less likely to do those things. All of that has a cooling effect on the economy and stops it running so fast. If, on the other hand, inflation is too low, the Reserve Bank can cut interest rates. This encourages customers to spend more rather than save because putting it in the bank doesn't generate any income, so customers are more likely to spend their money. Mortgage repayments become cheaper, so families have more money to spend. And hand in hand with that, businesses find it cheaper to borrow money, so therefore they're more able to invest and grow their businesses, therefore growing and building the economy. Now just before we finish, I want to take a look at a couple of example questions. So this question here is from one of the exams, I don't know which one, but let's have a read of it and let's have a look at how you would work it out. May's starting salary is $65,000 per annum. After the first year, her salary will increase by 2.8%. After the second year, her salary will increase by a further 3.5%. After this second increase, her salary will be closest to what? Now, there are two ways to answer this question. The first way is the quickest way. I'll also take a moment to take you through the second way, which is a bit longer, but will get you the same answer. So the first way would be to take the initial starting salary of $65,000 and to multiply that by 1.028. Now by multiplying by 1.028, effectively what we're doing is getting $65,000 and multiplying it by 1, and then on top of that adding the 2.8% increase. So this will give us a value that's somewhere in the realm of $66,820. You'll note that this is the answer given by A. However, this is not what the question's asking, therefore the answer to A is wrong. What you would do then is also multiply the answer to that by 1.035, which again is the initial amount, $66,820, with a 3.5% increase put on top. If you solve that, you would get an answer of $69,158.70, which gives you a value close to D, which is the correct answer. And finally, what I'd like you to do today in class is please have a look at exercise 21D and answer questions 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 9 and 11 in class. If you need a hand, just ask your teacher and they'll be able to help you. Otherwise you can contact me through the normal means and I'll be able to step you through it as well. Thanks very much guys, I hope you got some use out of this. Bye bye.